Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of European Private Label Summit. My next guest is Greg Mercer. He's the co-founder or probably founder of Jungle Scout Suite. It started with a Jungle Scout product research tool, and then it just expanded to a couple of few more tools for Amazon sellers. So hello Greg, welcome to the summit.
Augustus, thank you very much for having me. I'm always happy to be here. And I was really excited to hear that you were gonna do another one of these. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I always like your happy smile. You look so relaxed always. You do so much for the community.
I'm just a happy guy.
Yeah, but you look so relaxed, and some people might not believe. Are you really so relaxed in your life?
Yeah, I'm a pretty relaxed guy. I don't get too stressed out over things. So yeah, I'm a relaxed guy.
Mm-hmm. And Jungle Scout now includes how many different tools? Jungle Scout company, let's say.
Yeah, so in our suite, we have Jungle Scout, which is the product research tool. In addition, we have JumpSend. It does the email automation. It's also a deal site, so you can give out coupons. There's Fetcher, which is the profit analytics and accounting tool for Amazon sellers. And last but not least, Splitly is A/B testing for Amazon sellers.
Great. It's a lot of useful tools for sellers. And this time I invited you to show us how to, well, you are the expert in searching the products, and we are talking about European marketplaces. And I just wanted to give you a challenge to find a product on German marketplace. I'm sure you're not talking German, are you?
I don't know any German yet. Maybe by the end of the webinar, I'll know a few words.
Yeah, it's good. So let's see how you will manage to show to everyone who is not speaking German the way you could find you would be researching for a product. So it's interesting to see what you have prepared.
All right, fantastic. And with that being said, I think we can go ahead and get started. So like Augustus said, throughout this webinar, I'm going to teach you guys, and this is actually like a really popular and very commonly asked question is like, you know, a lot of people either want to start selling in the EU or they want to expand from the US into the EU. So this is something that a lot of people are wondering, you know, like, do I use the same product research strategies in the EU? What's working? What's selling well there? Does Jungle Scout even help you with those? So I'm going to go over a few of those strategies. I am going to be using the Jungle Scout tools throughout this webinar because I understand that a lot of you guys do have access to them or are using them. If you don't feel obligated to buy them. I don't want this to be a sales pitch. I want you guys to still walk away with like the concepts that we're going to be talking about, because those are applicable whether you're using the Jungle Scout product research tools or not. So some parts of choosing a product for Europe are going to be similar to how we look for products in the US, and other parts of it are going to be a little bit different. So all four things that I have listed right here, these are all very applicable no matter what marketplace you're selling in. But in my opinion, it's like the foundation or the building blocks of choosing a successful product to sell on Amazon. So I think it's important to cover them. So number one, and you're going to hear me say,
Greg, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you meant to share some slides? Because I don't see anything.
Oh, really? I guess you're still looking at me. I thought you guys were sharing, looking at my screen. We'll try that one more time. All right. Now I think you can see him. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Well, this is the first slide that I already went over with you guys. And there we go. Now we're on the second one. This is the one I was talking about. Apologize for that. So this is, and actually for everyone listening to this, Augustus, he actually jinxed me before the webinar because he said I oftentimes effortlessly transition into the screen share. So I think that jinxed it, and that's why I messed up. But so guys, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, but we want to focus on existing demand on whatever marketplace you plan on selling. Okay. If you've seen any of my product research webinars before, you've heard me harp on this idea. And the reason I always bring it up and always say it multiple times is because this is like critical to your success or failure on Amazon. Okay. So what I mean by existing demand is I mean people are already searching for this product on Amazon and purchasing it on Amazon. Okay. So, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes of how to verify this existing demand. Number 2 and 3 could kind of go together. We want a quality product that's naturally and organically going to get good reviews. It is difficult for your product to be successful in the long term if you're not focusing on finding a quality product, and over time, if it's going to get poor reviews, okay? Number 3, as far as focusing on adding value in your differentiation for the product, what I mean by this is an excellent long-term strategy, whether you're selling on Amazon or really you could take this same lesson to any industry, is finding a way, like a unique value proposition, a unique selling proposition, why your product is different than the competitors and why it's better. So just to give you an example, a lot of people know I sell these bamboo marshmallow sticks. The way we differentiated them was we made them a little bit longer, because in some of the bad reviews, people were saying that they were too short, and people were like, hands were getting too hot or they're burning their hands. Another product that I'm selling is like a hooded baby towel. Some of the bad reviews for some of our competitors said the material was too thin. So we just asked the factory to use a thicker material. So that's what I mean by adding value or a unique value proposition. It's very easy for me to say, hey, my product is the best on Amazon because it is the thickest. Other people complain that the other ones are too thin. Well, this is like a thicker, more plush material. Okay. And then last but not least, we want to focus on something with relatively low competition. And I'll go over a more like quantifiable way to figure this out in a little bit. So yeah, these are the main things that I'm going to be looking for. And I forgot to mention at the beginning of this webinar, these tactics that I'm talking about, these are mainly going to apply to private label sellers, okay? So there's obviously different sales models to get your products up on Amazon. My personal favorite and what's pretty popular right now is, what most people refer to as like the private label model. And that just means we're getting a product manufactured oftentimes in China. We're putting our own private label or private brand or creating our own brand with it, and then we're selling that product. So a few key factors there are we're not inventing this product ourselves. This is a product that's more or less already being manufactured. Maybe we're just making some small tweaks to it. And another, I guess, key thing is we're not reselling this product. So we're not purchasing from a wholesaler or purchasing from Walmart or Target or some other big box store, which is commonly referred to as like arbitrage. Instead, what I'm talking about here is the private label model. Okay. And I just have a couple more slides, and then I'm going to let you guys watch over my shoulder as we actually choose one of these products. So when I'm looking at the EU stores, primarily Germany and UK, that's where I would probably focus on doing your product research. I want to see throughout the entire niche that there's at least 1,000 units of demand. So that doesn't mean one particular listing. That means in total for the whole niche or kind of like market, that there are 1,000 units being sold. So that tells us that there's 1,000 people every month searching on Amazon, purchasing that product. And that's what we're looking for this existing demand that I was talking about. We want something with low competition. Now, most of the EU stores, Germany and UK included, are not super competitive now, which is fantastic. But the way I'm going to gauge the amount of competition is by the number of reviews that listings have. That's one of the best indicators, because a high number of reviews signifies to me that this listing has A, been on Amazon for a while, and B, has been selling well. Because a product that's very mature, has been selling well over time, is going to have a high number of reviews. Now, it's not necessarily the number of reviews that make the products that makes the niche very competitive, but that is an excellent gauge for us to be able to tell whether or not it is like a mature, established niche. Okay. I wouldn't say this next line is a must, but it's like a nice to have. If a product's selling well without very good reviews, that's a great indicator for you that people really want this product and they're willing to buy it, even though it's not a very high quality. So this is really good for you and really important, because this lets you know, like, hey, if I sell the same product, but make the improvements on the things that people are complaining about, then I could potentially do really well, because I'm sure I'll sell better than that person who's getting poor reviews. So yeah, that's something really good to look for. And then I prefer a little bit higher priced items. I don't want to sell an item that is like 12 euros or 10 pounds. In those lower priced items, there's just not a whole lot of money left over for you to make profit. So if I'm selling a product for like 10 euros, 12 euros, Amazon's flat fees in there are like 4 or 5 euros, something like that. You know, a few dollars to get, or a few euros, a few dollars to get this product in there. You know, if you're only making $1 or $2 or 1 or 2 euros or pounds per sale, it just takes a lot of sales to turn into a significant amount of money. So I want something a little bit higher price point. So there's obviously multiple marketplaces in the EU. We have UK, Germany, France, Spain, and Italy. I don't think I forgot any there. So it's like, where do you begin? A lot of you, if you're already selling, know that you can store your products in one country and still fulfill to other countries in the EU, which is really nice. So I would recommend just, even, you know, if you want to sell in all of the EU or sell in multiple marketplaces, I would recommend doing your product research in the UK or Germany store, because those are the largest marketplaces in the EU and have like the most demand. Okay. So I would focus on those, and you can still sell your products in other marketplaces. A few last comments before I let you guys watch on my shoulder and how I do this is, we want to stay away from, these are all products that are going to cause you either headaches or legal troubles down the road. So, or likely both. So we don't want to sell any products that need to be licensed. So, that would often mean like something with your favorite sports team on it, or whatever else is supposed to be licensed. So that would be like Mickey Mouse, or a movie character, or a cartoon character, or something like that. We don't want to sell those products because they're supposed to be licensed. I'm pretty sure you didn't get a license for them. We don't want to sell anything that's patented. So specifically, you know, I'm not an IP attorney, especially in Europe, but I wouldn't want to sell anything with any type of European patents. It might get a little bit iffy if you start trying to sell something in Europe with US patents, even though legally those wouldn't have jurisdiction there. That'd just be something that's like, well, if you can stay away from those, I probably would. There also are certain products that are banned on Amazon. So some examples that I know of are any type of like pipes like this. There's also there's not really like that much stuff. I think like fireworks. There's only like a few types of products that can't be sold on Amazon. But if it's something that seems like a little bit iffy, or just anything at all, you actually might want to just like do a quick Google search and make sure that you can sell that type of product on Amazon. And just because the product is on Amazon doesn't mean you can legally sell it there. I took this picture off of Amazon.com. Actually, this is a pipe that, you know, we all know is supposed to be used for like marijuana, even though on Amazon, this was marketed as like, I think like an incense holder or something. Well, if you check back in like 2 weeks, this product probably won't be on Amazon anymore. So I recommend you don't sell it, because they're smart people. They identify products like this. And then I wouldn't sell anything with high liability or risk. My example here is a parachute. That would seem pretty dangerous. I wouldn't be willing to sell something like that, and I wouldn't recommend for you to either. So with all that being said, let's find some products. Augustus gave me the challenge of finding a product in Germany, even though I don't speak a single word of German. I'm up for the challenge. I'm going to show you guys how I'm willing to do it, because I'm focusing most of my research off the numbers. So it's not that big of a deal that I actually don't know what most of these words mean. If you do want to know, or you are curious, there is a free extension called Google Translate. So I have that installed. I can click this little button, and it does it does an okay job of translating this stuff. It does a good enough job for me to like understand that, this is kitchen and household. Before it was, I'm not even going to try to say this because Augustus would laugh too hard at me. But if you want to get the idea of what these types of categories are or whatever, this is a pretty handy extension to have. You can just click the button and it goes back and forth. So yeah, I'm just going to keep it. So I'm on the German marketplace. So I just select that up here. Oh, I guess for anyone who's not familiar, I apologize. This is the Jungle Scout web app. So if you were to go to our homepage, this is like the one that sells for a monthly fee. And that's what I'm inside of right now. This is what I'm using. So what this specific feature is, we're inside of the product database. And in the product database, what we've done is we've rebuilt Amazon's catalog in such a way that's user-friendly for sellers to search through. So I can select the German marketplace. I have about a little bit over 10 million results here. I could select which categories I'm interested in. Right now, I'm just going to keep it wide open, but if there's specific categories, you can select them. Actually, we can go ahead and get rid of a few of these categories. So I know like DVDs or movies or what have you, those are not good private label products. I try to stay away from like electronic stuff. I don't know German, but I'm guessing that those are both electronic type products. So yeah, this is good enough. Earlier, I think I said I like to sell products for at least 18 euros. Whatever marketplace you're in, the filters are set to match the local marketplace. So if we went to the .de store, everything would be in euros. So same thing here. The prices are in euros. So I'm going to say like only show me products that have at least $18. I'm going to say only show me products that sell at least 200 units per month. Now, if we went back to my slides, I say greater than 1,000 sales a month. But keep in mind, this number is for the whole niche. Where this number right here, 200 units, that's for one particular product. So that might be a little bit confusing for you right this second, but I think I'll be able to clarify that in 1 minute. I want to look for products. Remember, I said here that I want products that are doing well, even though they're in the niche, there's less than 20 reviews. So I'm just going to say a max of 20 reviews. And let's see, let's do 200 results and let's go ahead and search. So in a few seconds, we had, before we had 10 million results, that is enough to wean us down to 8,600 results, which is a good place to start from. So what we're looking at here is all of these products meet the criteria that we inserted above. Okay. So now what we can do is we can look through some of these products and look for something that we'd be interested in selling. So I usually don't like jewelry because you have to worry about whether, like, are you going to get like real silver or real gold, or oftentimes people like brand name jewelry. Something like this, a New York Yankees hat, this should be licensed technically to sell something that has like that New York Yankees logo on it. Electronic items are things that I stay away from. Something like this, I've seen these are pretty popular these days. This is something that like I would be willing to sell something similar to that. So we'll go ahead and open that up in a new tab. Looks like there's another one. So I'm just looking at the pictures right now. Like I said, I don't know any Germans. I don't know what these titles say. However, pictures do a pretty good job of showing you what the type of product is. It looks like this is a plastic glass. And again, I could, if I want to cheat, I can always click the translate button. And yeah, it doesn't say whether or not that's plastic or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and skip over that and look for something a little bit, hopefully simpler. We could try this. This is like an old school looking, to me, milk bottle in Germany or elsewhere in Europe. It might remind you of some other type of bottle. But sure, this is good enough. So we had 10 million. We got down to 8,000. I selected 2 out of those top ones. And from here, I want to figure out. So I know this one particular product. Let's see. this one particular product, it was this one. It's selling about 800 or 900 units per month. It only has 8 reviews, or it had 8 reviews when this was collected. And it sells for like 33 euros. So all signs so far point to a potentially good product. It also does have 4 stars or less, what I'd mentioned, which lets me know that there are potential improvements I can make to this product. So far, this looks like a good product. Now, we need to see whether this is an outlier or whether or not this is a good niche for us to sell into, okay? So at this point, what I would try to do is I would try to pull out what I think are the main keywords, whether it looks like this has both English and German written in it, because I see like air sofa, camping, park, those are all English words, and then I have some German words. So I can try to translate this to English to help me choose what I think the main German words would be for this. Looking at this, it doesn't look like this might be it, but I'm just going to do air sofa, and I think that will probably work, even though that's an English word. If there was a German word for this particular thing, I would try to use it, but I don't know if there is. It looks like actually this one, Wasserdishes, that may be a German word that describes this, but it's not really that important, because it looked like air sofa actually got me back the results I was looking for. If I wanted to try, I could try. And anyone who speaks German and is watching this is probably laughing, because this could mean like something totally different.
I am not a native German speaker, but I'm already laughing how you pronounce this.
What does that word mean?
Wasserdichtes. I think waterproof, but it's not pronounced like what a dish. Wasserdish.
Wasserdishes. Was that a little better?
Wasserdichtes, I think.
Okay. That's the last word I'm going to try to say, because I'm just embarrassing myself. But that's okay, because just using the English terms for this particular one, air sofa, which, to be completely honest, like this particular product doesn't even really have like a real name in English. There's not like air sofa. That's not even necessarily what this is. That could be like probably different things in English, but it's a good enough thing to get us a whole bunch of results that seem relevant. Okay. From here, we need to determine whether or not this is like a good niche to get into or not. Okay. So get rid of that one. Let me zoom in. I know it's sometimes hard for you guys to see this in the replays, so that should help a little bit. But now we need to figure out whether or not, like I said, this is like a good niche to get into. So if we went back, I say I want something with at least 1,000 sales per month. I want to see products in the top 10 with under 20 reviews. If I go and look at this, this particular niche actually has a ton of demand. All right. So the top guy is selling a few thousand units per month, 2,000, 1,700, 1,000, 2,300. So this is a ton of demand in like this sports and something category. A lot of these are ranked in the top 100, which is really good. And there's like, if I were to add these up, we'd be talking like 6,000 or 8,000 units of demand every month, which is extremely high. Even like these merchant fulfilled items, which doesn't even mean they're eligible for Prime, they're still selling 300 and 1,000 units. So all those things signify to me that this is a very non-competitive niche. If I look at the number of reviews, the top guy is 31. The second one doesn't even have any reviews, 84. And then we have like 1, 18, 5, 8, 2, 2. So I said in the top 10, multiple ones with under 20, and everyone except 2 have under 20. So again, that signifies to me that this is a very non-competitive niche. This also, at first glance, seems like something that would be good to get into. After Amazon takes their cut, it seems like there's about between 18 and 29 euros left over. So that's like after Amazon fees. So I can look at this and I have no idea what these cost to source, but let's say if it costs 10 euros to source and land, that'd be like 18 euros profit. I don't know how much these are. Maybe they're 15 euros, but it seems like this is potentially like a pretty lucrative niche to get into. Now, one thing to check with these, it is the middle of summertime right now in Europe, which I would imagine these are more popular in summertime. I see people laying on the beach or like in a nice park or what have you. Something that you can do to check to help you with the seasonality is you can click the little trend button down here. And then this is going to show us when these are most popular. So it looks like these got popular the summer of last year. Before that, they weren't too popular. And then this gives you an idea that, okay, in January and February, the demand for these are the numbers I'm showing down here, like 45 or 50. So in January and February, the demand's about 1/2. So 50 compared to 100 of what they would be in the middle of summer. So that's something pretty good. That's pretty good intel. So right now we are in the middle of summer. So I could expect about half this demand come this winter, which seems like still pretty solid demand. If there's, what did I say? If I add these up, like 8, maybe even 10,000 units of demand. Well, okay. If there's like 4,000 or 5,000 units of demand in the wintertime, that's still pretty darn good, especially with such low competition. So this would be a good niche. And this would be one that if I wanted to sell another product in Germany, this is one that I would look into a little bit further. So let's take a look at this next one. So this, I'm going to translate this real quick just to see. 10 empty glass bottles, vintage style milk bottles. All right. So I'm going to guess that this may be our main German word. If not, I can try one of these two. So like I said, I don't speak any German, but I'm going to try to search this. I'm going to see if the results are relevant to what I was expecting just by looking at the pictures. So kind of relevant, maybe as relevant as we're going to get. It looks like these are glass bottles, but there's kind of different kinds here. So let me try to go back and try to choose one. Let's see if we can get a little bit more specific. So this isn't just a glass bottle, but it's also kind of wide mouth. So maybe we'll try that one. So like I said, I don't speak any German, but I'm pretty sure this means something like equivalent to wide mouth. And Augustus might be laughing at me because it might not mean that at all, but we're going to search.
To tell the truth, I have no idea what does mean White House.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Well, it looks like that is relevant for our particular product. It's close enough. So we can kind of like look at the niche with this word, and then we could try it without this word and just kind of like see how it compares. And that would give us a little bit of a better idea of what it's like kind of like overall. So these top few products sell okay, 33, 160, 118. Looks like 20 bottles or 10 bottles, 20 bottles, different sizes, 200 milliliters or 500 milliliters. This next one, it sells quite a bit better, but that's not quite the search result that we're looking for. So with this particular niche, just these clear kind of like wide mouth type bottles, I would say that there's not sufficient demand for me to be interested to get into it. It seems like it's a little bit light. So the demand's a little bit light. It's not very competitive. There's 2 guys under 29 with under 20 reviews. This top one only has 29, so still not that many reviews. Let's just look at the glass bottles as a whole, see if that might be a better niche for us. The one problem with kind of like a more generic search term like this is there's a lot of different types of products that would appeal to different people searching here, right? So like if I'm, I personally carry around like a water bottle in my backpack every day. It's a water bottle that would be kind of similar to that. So that leads to a different type of consumer or a different purchase, a different person looking to purchase something than say this would. This is more so a bottle that people would use for maybe like homemade like kombuchas or home brews or maybe even like salad dressings or something else, right? So that's going to be, like I said, different than the person looking for like a sport or active type water bottle. So I would encourage you, if you made a search like this, maybe to make the results more specific for exactly what you want to sell. So I could do that by like removing the products that aren't relevant. And I can do this by just looking at the pictures. I don't even have to know what these words mean. So I'm going to remove that one. That could probably stay. Remove that. That looks almost like you put medicine in those bottles or something. So, and I'm just going to say, we'll remove those. They all look like 12 packs. Same with this one. So now I could say like, okay, like what does the niche look like for these like glass? In my opinion, these are more so like reusable everyday water bottles. That's how I'd probably like personally define these. So like in that, we could look at that particular niche, and the demand's fairly spread out, which is nice. Everyone's selling about, more or less 200 units, which is pretty good. However, this one's a little bit more competitive, right? If we compare this to the air sofas, some people were selling well with only 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever reviews they had, very small. Whereas this is a little bit more competitive. The top guy is 277 reviews, 150, 50, 100. So this is something more competitive, and I wouldn't personally start selling these in the German or EU marketplace. Not that you couldn't do well if you really tried, that might be possible, but there's just like many more like low-hanging fruits that you could sell in that area. So, I would rather sell the air sofa than these glass kind of like everyday type water bottles. So yeah, that's more or less how I would use the Jungle Scout tools to help me find one of these products. There are a couple other things that we could just look at real quickly that I do. So let me let's go back to the air sofas, because those were a lot better. I just want to show you a couple other things that you need to like be on the lookout for when you're selecting your product. So if I go in here inside the product tracker, what I can do is I can add products to this tracker and track them on an everyday basis. So I just added one of these air sofa products. And what I want to look for is to see how well this product is selling like on a daily basis. So this particular one doesn't have too much sales history. It looks like it was selling consistently about 30 units a day. Somehow they went out of stock, and their inventory has been kind of jumping around since then. I'm looking at the light blue line. What's more common? Let's just see what mine look like. This is probably a little bit more common. Once you track a product for a few more days, something like this is a little bit more common. Like the light blue line is the amount of inventory. Down here, I'm sure it's kind of hard for you guys to see on the replay, but there's a little bar that shows the units sold for the day. So this gives me a little bit better idea of like, is this product, did it just sell well for this past week because this person ran a promotion on their air sofa, or does it sell well consistently over time? So like by tracking a product like this, it gives you some better information. Like this product, the inventory went down a little bit each day. This looks like it's consistently selling. I'm just looking at the number right here, 20, maybe more units per day, but that gives you a pretty good idea. So this can kind of help you make sure that a product's doing well. So yeah, that is more or less like how I would go about finding a product to sell in Germany. One other thing that I'll talk about real quickly, just because I realize that this might be turning into like a little bit of like a sales pitch. I want to give you guys access to a free tool as well. So if you go to junglescout.com/estimator, It doesn't right this second, but if you check back when this video is live, you will see this will also support all the EU marketplaces. And in there, you can go in there and you can enter bestsellers ranks. And this is a totally free tool. You don't even have to do your email or anything. And this will help you figure out how much demand a particular listing has. Because, like I said, even if you decide not to use the Jungle Scout tools, I still want you guys to be like thinking about these same concepts, because that's like at the end of the day, that's what's more important, is like the bigger picture, that we need to be looking for existing demand. We need to be looking for like low competition and those other things that I was talking about. So yeah, with that being said, Augustus, that's about all I had for my presentation. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I wanted to ask you about when you were searching for a product in your web app. It looked like you found about 9,000 products, but you only looked through the first page. Is it that the products which are shown on the first page are the most valuable and most important?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So they are sorted by default in alphabetical order. So no, like the first page wouldn't be like the best products. They're just by default sorted in alphabetical order. Now you can change that by clicking on the column headers. Let me just, I'll do a screen share again real quick, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So right now, by default, it's sorted by product name. And these are showing up first because they have, this has like an exclamation mark, a quote. So technically, I guess by alphabetical order, those come before numbers. So now I have numbers, and then I would start to see like A, B, etc. So these are by no means the best. If you want, and there's just tons of good products in here. That's why I just grabbed a few off the top. But if you want, you could sort, normally I would sort by things like estimated monthly sales. So that would be these would be the ones with the highest sales, that's selling like over or almost 5,000 units per month. Another thing you could sort by what would be maybe like number of reviews. You could look at the ones with the least amount of reviews first. You could sort by listing quality. So LQS is the listing quality score. So the lower the LQS, the poorer the listing is. So this product has a listing quality score of 4, and that's because it looks like they just added a picture. Maybe we could look at this one. This one has listing quality of 6. And overall, this is like a pretty bad listing. The title is very short without many keywords. The bullet points are very short. If I look down here, the product description, is pretty short. There's no enhanced brand content, etc. So, I guess why this is important is this product, even with a pretty bad listing, is selling 226 units per month. It only has 3 reviews and it has a pretty bad listing. So that's something that you could do. So, yeah, kind of a long answer, but by default, I guess the main point was there that they were alphabetical order.
All right, and you found a potential product, which is this Year Sofa. And one of your criteria was to think how to differentiate. I know that you probably, first what you do is you look at the reviews and see how you can differentiate, but just out of your head, do you have an idea how this Year Sofa could be differentiated? I will use this idea. Yeah,
that's a really good question. Off the top of my head, I don't. I would have to read the reviews. So the best way to figure this out, and again, I'll just share my screen just so you guys can see what I'm doing, because this is like a really valuable way to find improvements to these products. So I have an Air Sofa. I clicked on to show me the reviews. I can see all the 1-star reviews, and then I can see what people don't like about this. So now I have all the 1-star reviews. I'm going to translate it because I don't know any German. This person didn't specify. Defective, does not hold air for more than 10 minutes. 20 minutes, the air is out. It leak. So it looks like this one's leaky. So I would probably need to figure out what part is it leaking. Are like the seams leaking? Is this part that you roll up leaking? So if the seams are leaking, I would find a factory and I'd say, hey, can you like double reinforce the seams or put like glue in the seams, or what can you do to improve the seams? If it was this part that you roll up that was leaking, then maybe I would say like, could you put some kind of like rubber in the area that you roll up so that it seals better? Or could we use a different type of fabric there that doesn't leak air as much? So yeah, I would just first find out like where the leaks were coming from, and then second, talk to the factory to see what they could do to stop those leaks.
All right. Now another question about reviews. Now when you showed 1-star reviews, and it's very often on the product listings with bad reviews, that these reviews are just one line long. And I used to be active reviewer in Germany, and I reviewed a lot of products. And when I received some really good quality product, and then I was looking at the reviews, and I was surprised to see low star reviews. So I couldn't believe that someone put low star. And what I suspected, and I think what usually happens, that there is like war between the sellers when some seller is ordering bad reviews. And that's why these bad paid reviews are very short, because their objective is just to put low star. Do you have any opinion on these kind of reviews?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think I agree with you that there's some of that going on. There's some of that looks like the water bottle we were researching. I do agree with you that some of the bad reviews may be from competitors. I personally actually don't think that's with my product specifically. It doesn't seem like I have that many of just these haters trying to bring down my product. So there might be some of that. Oftentimes, though, I do think a lot of the bad reviews are legitimate, that there are like defective products in the batch, or there's, like that air sofa, it did have quite a few bad reviews. So it probably really is leaky. If you read like the same thing over multiple reviews, that probably is legit. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree that it's probably easy to identify which reviews are kind of legitimate, because I remember.
Yeah, I was just, like, some are like real constructive, right? Like, I wanted to like this problem, but this and this and this, and other ones are just like, worst waste of money ever, don't ever buy it. And it's like, okay, like that's not very helpful.
Yeah, as an example, once I received, I think, like something to put when you sleep on, like how it's in English, something to put on yourself when you sleep, something warm, blanket. Yeah, warm blanket. Uh-huh. And when it arrived in a carton box, when you unpack, there was some specific smell of chemicals, and a lot of bad reviews were pointing to that smell, but it took just 24 hours just to keep in the room, and it aired out, and it was good quality product. And the seller told me that simply, I think due to storage or due to specific of this blanket, they have to there is this smell, but it airs out very quickly. But reviews were saying that, yeah, I had to return because it never aired out, and we were like surprised at home why they say so. So
right.
All right. And another question which comes to me. So people put goals in their lives. Your goal is, I think once I asked, you want to help as many as possible Amazon sellers, and you want to serve them with your software tools. My goal is also with this summit to deliver information people are seeking for. But what kind of goal can be someone searching for a product and finding a year sofa? So what kind of goal can it be? Isn't it just to make money?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think that it's quite a loaded question, right? Because you have to, it's probably like, what type of motivations do these people have who are like looking for these products, right? Some people's motivations might strictly be monetarily, right? It might be that maybe I'm in debt, I need to pay back my debts, or I want to become financially free so I don't have to worry about money, or build a bigger like retirement fund. Those are probably a lot of people's goals watching this. Other people's goals, you know, like we had like a testimonial a few weeks ago from one lady, and her goal was to like prove to her children and family that she could start her own business and run it successfully. So she wasn't monetarily as driven, but like she wanted like the pride of, you know, like starting and creating one of these businesses. So yeah, I think everyone watching this is going to be like a little bit different. Me personally, if you want to know about just kind of like some insights for me, so if we rewind, I guess that was like 4 years ago now. I had a corporate job. I quit it 3 or 4 years ago. I was a civil engineer. I started selling full-time on Amazon. It's like at the time, my goals were to be like financially free. It's like I didn't have to worry about money anymore. You know, I could live just like a comfortable life without having to worry about money. I'm not a very like material person, so I didn't want to like buy stuff. But like after that, after I started making enough money to like live like a comfortable life until a point where like I wasn't worrying about it, then for me, I had this point. It's like, well, what are my goals now? What do I need to do now? Like, I don't really care about like making more money anymore. So yeah, that's when like I decided that like doing things like this, and you know, the summit with you, Augustus, like helping other people, helping them like achieve their goals, that's really rewarding. I do more philanthropic work now. We're doing like a case study where we're donating all the money to Pencils of Promise, and we're trying to the goal is to build 5 schools in developing countries. So then you can, yeah, I think for everyone watching this, once you kind of like have the whole like money thing figured out, it really like gives you this freedom to figure out like what does make you happy in life, you know, and then you can go to achieve those goals.
And do you think putting money as a goal does work? For me personally, it doesn't work. I have to put something else, which is not money, as a goal.
I think putting money as a goal does work, because maybe as shallow as that statement might sound, money, you know, if we're talking about realistically here, money is like the fuel that you need to be able to like achieve a lot of other things. So like money is the fuel that we need to build the 5 schools in developing countries. You know, for other people, money might be the fuel that you need to send your kid to like a private school that you really wanted instead of like a public school. So yeah, I think money is a good driving factor for a lot of people.
I know we're going off topic, but what I'm thinking that building a school somewhere, so this is the goal, to help those children to build a school, and I don't see a problem to use money for that. But then if you're, yeah.
No, I see what you're saying. I guess the examples I gave did have something besides just the money. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is a good point. Touche. I guess, yeah, that's kind of for everyone to be kind of asking themselves. Some people, I imagine some people watching this, just their goal is just to become as rich as possible. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Thanks a lot once again for a nice, happy session.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch. I hope for some people who don't speak European languages, besides English, they will get inspiration from what they saw. And I don't know, you are welcome to mention how people can reach out to you if they're interested.
Yeah, if you're looking to find more, feel free to just check out junglescout.com. On there, we have other like resources and ways to contact us, comment in the blogs, everything else. So yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you found it helpful.
All right. Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye.